Today on Breaking the Chains, I will be speaking with Brother Curtis Murphy about Fihankra, what it is, how it came about, and why it is important to the diaspora. Enjoy.
Everybody had their own belief, but my belief is I've been here before, and the critic gives me if the critic gives me a task, and I do that task with all my heart, I get another chance to come back. So that's my motivation. It ain't money. Money don't motivate me because it won't bring me back. See, when I was in the U.S., they had a program to stop AIDS, and the Undersecretary for Health and Human Services was he was a brother, and he had been to Uganda. And Uganda had turned their AIDS epidemic around in 2 years. So the U.S. like contracted with them to come and bring the program to the U.S. So I had a radio station there. So they came, the Ugandans that was running the program, they'd come, and I was helping them get the participants they need to make the program work. So as we was gathering the women, and I asked them did they want to go to Africa to do the program. And they said, we ready to go now. Right now. I said, if you got it, we ready to go. And I said, oh, something done changed because it used to be there was a negative attachment to Africa. And when they start saying that these people that I love have been with me, it's like my loyal people that have been with me. So when they said they ready to go now, I started trying to figure out
How we gonna get it?
yes. And just so happened, I didn't know about Fihankra then. It's a brother who I had helped raise. That somehow he had caught here. And so he told me, he said, have I ever heard about Fihankra? His name Tony Marshall. I said, no. So he said, they got a thing, some land that was supposed to be for the Africans to come to. So I came here to see it. The Akamu people gave the land because back during slavery, they had a fight over chieftaincy. And in that fight, the clans that lost, it was 400 members of them, and they gave them to the white folks to just get them out of here. And that village is down here.
Oh.
So they gave the 30,000 acres of land was for the 400 people of their own clan.
For when they left.
To make amends. Yes, they were to make amends. That's what it was about.
Okay.
So then when these people from Detroit, Gerald Simmons, he could have like hatched a scheme to say the land was for him. He tried to say he paid $300 for all the land, and then he started selling it to the people in the diaspora. So as we go and you see these houses that's here, that they mostly all of them is vacant now. You're looking at one right there. Most of them, the ones involved now, is up in age.
Yeah.
So if the young people don't get involved,
A lot of the hesitation is coming from not knowing and hearing all of the scams and
you come scam your own people for what?
Pretty easy to do with land issues because over 90% of Ghana's court cases, over 90% of court cases are over land issues. Yeah.
So
wow.
the land was given from the Akamu for free. And then the first one that got here started saying they was going to sell it.
Okay.
Supposedly the money was supposed to be a palace built. And the people from the diaspora were sending money. It's a twisted scam. But when the diasporans were sending money under the pretext that there was some land for all of us, then they was taking the money and trying to use it for themselves, and that caused it was a lot of deceit at that point, and so shit got all marred up. So and it's just now that the student skin was taken back from them last year, and so we in the process of forming a Gazette committee to restooled it. So even we right now in the nomination process for Queen Mother and Fihankra Henny.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we got a constitution now.
So in 2014 is when the skin and stool were taken back.
Yes, the national
Why did
police
they
arrested them
why did they take the skin and stool back then?
because we requested it. I'm one of the ones that requested that the Dr. Deny, the national director for culture and chieftaincy affairs, he headed the thing to the Ghana government to bring the national police in to arrest them and take it from them.
Oh.
That's how the stool got took from them because we first came with a petition from the court and asked them to turn it over, and then they wouldn't. In fact, she threw it on the ground, like forget the court. But so it went to the process. They gave them more. They asked them several times. So they took it from them.
Okay.
The police took it from them. Then we were starting the process, trying to organize. But they have done a lot of damage with the scamming, and it had a negative connotation. The word Fihankra had a negative connotation even to the diasporans because if you don't know what's going on when you come here, you really don't put a whole lot of energy in trying to find out
Yeah.
what's
Yes.
going on, especially in opposition to what you're hearing that's negative. When the national police took the student skin, then the Ocpans filed a suit against the Ghana government.
Wow.
The National House of Chiefs created the stool. It belongs, it's the property of the National House of Chiefs. If they bestow it on Fihankra, when they say turn it back in, then you give it back to them. The palace that's up there on the hill was the money that was taken from the diaspora. It was supposed to be the Fihankra Palace. Then they scammed it and said it belonged to him. So all this game playing, it's been that. So when the people went to the Akumu Palace, then the Akumu said, we didn't sell them the land. And if the land was going to be sold, then they want part of the money for it being sold. This is what we in the process. There's no administration for the Fihankra student skin now.
Okay.
That's what we in the process of doing. That's why we wrote the Constitution. We following the directions from the National House of Chiefs on what we need to do to reestablish a Fihankra's administration.
Okay.
So that's the process that we under now.
Okay.
And once that's done, then this matter how we gonna deal with this land, the houses that's vacant and stuff like that. All of that will come up, and it'll be made a decision made from that administration. Okay. It ain't settled. The administration, just like he talking about. He talking about this dude named Sockaway. Now, his daddy was Gerald Simmons. I'm not even sure that that's his real name, Ocpan, because Ocpan wasn't his real name. His real name was Gerald Simmons from Detroit, Michigan. So they took the name Ocpan from here. But when you see after the murder showed up in the Detroit paper, it didn't show up at none of the names that they was using here. What Fihankra means, those who left home without saying goodbye. Fihankra.
Fihankra and one crack. So Fihankra, that's why they make it short form like that. Fihankra.
Ufiha.
Ukoi and one crack.
Okay.
You went without saying goodbye.
The Ghanaians created the stool, not us. This ain't not from the U.S. side. This is the Ghanaian side, and to make amends for the involvement that the chiefs had in slavery. Okay. After the ceremony in '94, then they gave, this was the first land that was supposed to be land given for Fihankra in each region. So in this region, it was supposed to be 30,000 acres. So we going from them creating the stool and skin. Then Akpan, who was a part of the Guardian mission, he was acting as the custodian. He never got considered. In other words, nobody never chose him. Nobody from the diaspora chose him to be no chief for us. Then he took it that he was the chief and started telling them that the Ghanaians telling the people in the U.S. that the Ghanaians made him chief for the diasporans, and us not knowing nothing about how this society works, we just took the word.
Right.
And then he told the Ghanaians that the ones in the U.S. made him chief. So he played both sides against them. But then nobody choose for him to be a chief. The Ghanaians didn't choose him, nor did the diasporans. He was taking the title and then when he got arrested, he tried to say he didn't say he was a chief. But when we came here in 2011 and we did the investigation, we videotaped it too, with him. They saying he was the chief. No, man. They didn't know that we was part of the investigation team that was chosen from RTA to come and investigate.
The line.
Yes, what was the deal with Fihankra?
Right.
You see, because even before I knew what was going on, we got a letter to our group that said the diasporans was going to lose the land because non-payment of taxes. So we started raising money to pay the taxes, and in the process of raising the money, the people who had got scammed, who had already been here, they was arguing with us saying don't give them nothing. They started to have a big fight about raising money to give to the Octans, and the people who had already been scammed was definitely opposed to it.
Right.
So we said, okay, the ones who had never been here, we said, okay, well, we'll go to the Ghana government and find out what the truth is. We said we won't give no money to them. And so then Amicus from One Africa said, well, we don't need y'all money and that we ain't gonna lose the land. So then we started reversing the PayPal back to the people who had sent the money. And then some of them said, well, now take the rest of the money and go do the investigation and find out what was the truth. And so we did that. The first thing that has to be happen is the stool skin has to be gazetted.
Okay.
There's a stool. It's like a chair, but it has a symbolic and a spiritual meaning to the stool. It ain't like we look at stools. A stool is just something to sit on.
Yeah.
But it take more prominence here, and so we fall in the traditional sense.
Right. The chief here got to swear you in.
Yeah.
Right.
So once the stool skin is gazetted, and the administration takes it, then we have to decide how we're gonna do it.
Divide the land.
Right.
There's a list that we have of about 200 people who had already gave them money for land here, but never got the land. So how to satisfy them?
First.
We want them took care of too. We don't want just have some of them gave almost their life savings.
Right.
And we don't want them to lose. So let me put it this way: how are you young people gonna resolve it? Because it's gonna get put into y'all's hand. I'm sure of that.
Okay.
I mean that's what I'm doing now, but I'm doing it in hopes to turn it over to y'all. So this is some of the problems y'all have to figure out how y'all gonna deal with it.
It can be like
When we get ourselves together, then and the National House of Chiefs will bring us in and give us a seat at the National House of Chiefs. Then everything is officially gazetted. What I've seen now, it will take young Ghanaians to help explain to the diasporans what it is. So there are some students at the University of Ghana that are starting the Fihankra Student Association
Oh, good.
to try to teach what's going on, because it's hard for me trying to explain it when at the same time I've learned over the 5 years. What I know now is what I've learned over 5 years. But how do you tell them the stool is something that's very important? I can't get that across. I mean, it's something I guess you kind of have to grow up in it. Over 17,000 in the RTA group.
Alone.
So and then there's other groups like RTA. So that shows that there's a big interest in Africans from the diaspora moving to Ghana. So it's been difficult, but it's we're working on it.